and this talked to the lead producer of Battlefield. This is in the response, I think, the couple like last week when that guy came out started saying stuff. And we can go back into that. We're not going back into that. We're going to go to this now. Uh, yeah, it's about 5 days old. I think this came out last time I went live or something like that. Maybe the day after. I'm not sure. So I missed it until today. Anyways, let's see how this.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I have
I
a
don't know
bit of
why
a
I did
treat for
that.
you guys. This was an extremely unexpected occurrence, but today I got the opportunity to talk to David Serland, also known as Tigger. He is one of the lead producers working on the next Battlefield title. And for whatever reason, for the first time in a few months, he started responding to people on Twitter. I was one of the people he responded to. And then, for just reasons I still can't believe, he appeared randomly in my Twitch channel, and
Huh.
we actually
That's
talked for
interesting.
about 20 minutes. He was in my Twitch chat responding to the people that were in the chat at the time who were, of course, asking so many questions. So I just wanted to do a big recap.
It's probably based on what happened with the ex Dice employee on Twitter. But X, sorry, I don't know why you keep. They changed the name to X. I don't know why they changed the name to X. They should just kept that Twitter. Everyone calls it Twitter still. Yeah. In response to everyone talking on, sorry, the ex Dice employee on ex Dice employee talking on X, saying stuff. You know, uh, alleged ex employee. I don't know. No one knows. I don't think.
Of this because it's rare to see any community interaction from really anyone at EA Dice working
True.
on the next Battlefield game, but it's particularly rare to see community interaction from a lead producer, and even more rare to see it from someone like David Serland, who, if you take a look at his Twitter account,
We usually get it from the community manager. I forget who the community manager is for Dice, but he usually talks a lot to the community.
tweets maybe once a month and then gets off of Twitter for about 5-6 months. So yeah, should be a pretty cool video. I hope you guys enjoy it. And I'll try my best to start from the top to just explain how this sort of happened and all the little nuances. So be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and definitely let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. But without further ado, let's get into things. So I'll just start at the beginning. I tweeted something on January 24th, and all I said was,
About a
boggles
week
my
ago.
mind every time I get asked if EA invited me to playtest the next Battlefield. And what I'm referencing here is, with the new article that Tom Henderson put out about Battlefield playtests, whenever something
You know what's
about
insane? Tom Henderson is the only guy I go to for Battlefield news because he's usually spot on most of the time. I mean, he did say stuff about the free to play Battle Royale mode, which never game. Then there was the free to play Battle Royale like mode that's an extraction that was supposed to be free to play but wasn't free to play. I mean, he's he's been right about most things though. A lot of things he's been right about. Everything he says though is grain of salt, of course. That's what any data miner is. Take everything with a grain of salt.
Battlefield playtesting comes up, of course, you guys, my community, ask me if I got invited to playtest the next Battlefield. And I completely understand that that question does come from a good place in
Nope, he
your
didn't.
guys' hearts. You know, you guys apparently want to see me playtest the next Battlefield, or at least hope that I can playtest the next Battlefield. But the reason why I tweeted that it boggles my mind that people ask me if I got invited or not is because it's so obvious, in my opinion, that I will never be able to have early access or playtest any of the newer Battlefield games before they come out,
Yep.
simply because I very publicly critique a lot of things that they did over the years, and I'm sorry, but EA doesn't really like that sort of thing. So my expectation it was
The only company that does not care about that is Ubisoft, the major company. As that I've seen recently is Ubisoft. Like, then I think it was who was it? It was some big creator. He crapped on the game he got sponsored to play, and they did not care because he's like, oh, he's telling us how the game is or whatever. I don't know how. I don't know how they do it. But that's what literally what they said
was
about how they
always and
acted.
still is to never be invited to do anything of the sort. And I accepted that simple truth for about 5 or 6 years at this point, pretty much as soon as I started streaming. But for whatever reason,
Yeah, and this he will literally just go like wild with information. He will literally not hold back. That's why I like him though. He will literally do it, like not hold back and critique everything that's wrong with it. Which is a shame because he's critiquing everything, and instead of not letting him test, they should let him test. He's just going to give valuable information to help the game grow.
I woke up today and my phone was just getting blown up. Like people were DMing me on Discord and everything. And then I saw that I had a reply from David Serland under this tweet. And I was like, well, hold on. Why is the lead producer from DICE working on the next Battlefield game replying to this tweet? And David Serland's reply to me basically saying, I'm not going to get invited to the next Battlefield, guys, like relax. He replied, "Don't count your chickens on that yet." And when I read this, I was kind of confused because, like I said,
So that's basically what the Crash games, the one we watched last week. That's basically where we're at with that right now. Um, yeah, I don't know what to say about that.
David Serland replies to maybe 2 people on Twitter every 4 months.
Jeez,
So I knew this was an extremely
that sounds but like me, dude. Look at my post. I post one thing, and it was about the Mr. Beast games, and before that, it was something else. Look at my replies. I replied to one person. I think I was making fun of them or something. I have no idea. And it was some affiliate thing I also replied to. And that's all. That's literally all.
rare occurrence to begin with. But then on this tweet in particular, and why now, just before everything starts to ramp up? Overall, my feelings around this were I was just very surprised and caught off guard, and I just replied to him like, "Oh, lol." Like, "Oh, okay." At the time, I didn't really know what else to say to that because I just was so surprised to even see the response in the first place. But then David Serland started going through the thread and replying some pretty awesome messages to other people. But I think one message in particular
In my
will
eyes, like
resonate
something in my
extremely
eye.
well with the entire community of Battlefield. He replied this to one William Mack on Twitter, and he said, "I am not known to go after the yes sayers." So basically, the yes men, the people that agree with everything and are just there to be involved with EA and be involved with Battlefield on an internal level. Then he goes on to say, with BF4, for example, we targeted the most negative voices, Battle Nonsense for one. It was essential to get them on board and believing in the approach and the game. Only way to do that
Why didn't he do that with 2042 in Battlefield 5? Well, I don't know if they did with Battlefield 5. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to Battlefield 5, but I was paying attention to 2042. And I didn't see that happening with 2042.
is to have them play and interact with them. And for those of you that don't know what he's referencing with Battle Nonsense, in Battlefield 4, I think Battle Nonsense was a creator that was particularly involved with critiquing the netcode and trying to improve that aspect of Battlefield 4. But what an amazing message here from David Serland, specifically mentioning in the beginning of the paragraph that he's not known for going after yes sayers or yes men.
Dude, Battlefield 4 was 12 years ago. Man, that's a long time. Like, I remember playing that with my uncle on the weekends, dude. Like, that's how I got a lot of memories about Battlefield 4. I love that game so much.
I mean, I can't even believe I am reading this message coming out of a lead producer's, keyboard on Twitter. And then the meaning for the message for me personally, right? He's responding to me because I assume that I am quote unquote the most negative voice for the past few Battlefield games and
That is probably true. I will not lie. I say that's probably pretty much true. If I go on Twitter, I just see enders like flaming, like a couple years ago when Battlefield 2042 came out. You know who I saw mostly flaming Battlefield 2042? Enders. So yeah, I would say yeah, he's pretty. I mean, he's just giving information out that's true. He's not like saying something that's not true. Let's be honest here. He's saying true information, but it's funny to say it sometimes. And I see how like he says so much that EA's like, nope, don't get him, don't get him.
Maybe they're trying to get me into some sort of internal playtests with the next Battlefield games. I don't really see any other reason why he would specifically reply to someone under one of my tweets mentioning it's very important to get negative voices in on playing the games if that weren't the case. But like I stated previously, I accepted that I would never have any of these opportunities about 6 years ago. So I'm just going to sit here and chill like I always have. And if something happens, then cool. If not, that's the expected
I'm never gonna
outcome.
get invited.
But nevertheless,
I'm never gonna get invited. Dude, I defend. I said this last video. I defend Battlefield all the time against my friends, against random people, and I still don't get invited to crap. I don't think it matters.
an extremely important message from David Serlin there. And then in a separate reply under the same tweet, David Serlin replies to someone calling him the only reason they still have a bit of tiny hope, and he has this to say, quote, I think I've said this before about a Battlefield title. It is necessary to convince through gameplay being played, not words or promises, all in time.
I
Again,
want to pull up again. I know he's referring to what happened in Battlefield 4. I mean, not sorry, Battlefield 2042 when they said they're ahead of schedule, but there wasn't ahead of schedule. They were in fact not ahead of schedule since they had to delay the game. Ahead of schedule, but still delayed a game. Does not make sense to me. And I don't think it makes sense to anybody. I don't think anybody even questioned that, did they? I don't even remember. It was so long ago. I had other issues going on too. All I remember was sitting there, excited to get my hands on Battlefield 2042. I remember it. That summer, I saw that trailer. I was working. I on break. I took off break, my 15-minute break, and watched that trailer like twice. It's like a 6-minute trailer. It was so good. That trailer was amazing. It was so hyped. Then the game came out, and huh, the game came out and it looked like this. Um, found it. The game came out, it looked like this. That's what it looked like.
a very important thing to understand with the next Battlefield game being displayed by one of the lead producers on the game. David Serland is showing us that he understands that they need to convince people through raw gameplay,
Yes,
raw results,
yes.
essentially. And that's good. That is absolutely fantastic. That is what should be happening moving forward with the next Battlefield title. And that is what I've been calling for the longest time. You know, I've called for people not to pre-order the games. I've called for people to basically, you know, don't get fooled by trailers, don't get fooled by marketing, get your hands on the game and make them earn your money through
I'll buy it at the play beta. If the beta is good, I'm not buying it. I'm not pre-ordering this game again, dude, unless it's actually good. I pre-ordered 2042. I drew up the most expensive thing in 2042, and it was the most disappointing experience of my life. That beginning was the most disappointing experience. I will buy it once I play it. And I enjoy it, by the way. I play it and enjoy it. If I don't enjoy it, it'll just be on Game Pass. It'll probably be Game Pass day one. Who knows?
results. And once again, I think it's great to see lead producer have the same sort of mindset about wanting to deliver those results to you. But now the most unexpected thing of all happens. I start my stream after these brief Twitter interactions, and at the beginning of my stream, I start going over them, you know, just talking about how I was really surprised to get a reply from him, and I didn't
Yep.
quite understand why he did it or like what the meaning was. And then I look over at my chat, and I see an account called Tiggs, okay? And he first time chats this message. Sorry for the confusion. I'm a busy guy, and I'm ramping up this part of the game dev production. Well, shit. That is Tigger in
Imagine
my
getting
Twitch
that
chat. And
message in
some
your
people
Twitch
watching
chat.
the stream in my chat were, you know, claiming, oh, you know, that can't be him, can it? So this actually triggered David Serlin to tweet on his main account to confirm
Okay,
that
dude.
his Twitch account was
Insane.
indeed the account he was on while he was
That's funny.
speaking to
That's
us
absolutely
in my
funny.
stream, which was pretty hilarious. Again, pretty insane. Cool to see. But after it was confirmed that that was David Serland in my Twitch chat, all the questions under the sun started rolling in to him
Yep.
from the people watching my stream and from myself. And
Dude,
he was cool enough to sit
we are the Battlefield community is desperate for a good Battlefield game. 2042, like I said, got better over time, but it's not like a true Battlefield game in a lot of people's hearts. I'm just gonna be completely honest. It's a good game now, but it's not. It does not feel like a Battlefield game. It feels like a generic FPS game. I think that's what a lot of people feel as well.
around for about 20 minutes to answer a ton of things. Now, I do have to sort of quell your hopes here a little bit. He did not confirm anything new about the next Battlefield game. He specifically stated
Yeah, I assume so. It would be too much information. You're not allowed to talk to it at the moment. I think they're in the NDA or something. You can't talk about it.
that he just has to keep extremely tight
Yep.
lipped about that subject. And of course, that was to be expected. But after speaking to him, the general feeling was just, I don't know, it like kind of gave me hope. And that word doesn't leave my
No, no, don't get help. Not until you get gameplay, see gameplay, feel gameplay. Do not have any hope. I have no hope for the next title until I try it out myself. I'm not gonna listen to anybody talking about it. I'm not trusting IGN with the. Why I smell chicken nuggets? I don't. I don't trust. I don't trust any games media with it. Not through the Veilguard. Not after Concord. I don't trust anyone with it. So I get my own hands on the game and test it myself, or watch the YouTuber that does it.
mouth very often. It really doesn't. But he kind of gave me a little hope because he was extremely open minded. He was extremely responsive. And it was like talking to your buddy or like your friend that you played Battlefield with for a very, very long time. You could tell that he's a real one, okay? He gives a shit. He
Oh,
knows
he's been playing Battlefield probably since he's been working there.
this. He knows the games. He loves the games. He plays the games and he wants them to be good. You know, one of the first messages that he typed is, quote, "I'm not here for hype training. I believe in showing games by having them played."
Then
So
what happened with 2042 then? What happened there? Because something clearly didn't go right. I mean, obviously, we already know the answer to how what happened and everything, but something clearly didn't go right with you. If you're saying that now, but 2042 launched in shambles.
you could sort of take a guess as to what he means by that. Maybe he's saying the next Battlefield game will have a more gameplay driven trailer or be shown via live gameplay for the first time. In general, he said multiple times now in this one video that he's a fan of showing games by having them be played. So, again, big fan of that sentiment there. And then after that message, I believe I mentioned something along the lines of like, you know, I never thought
Why was
that
that
I would
glitching
have
like
the
that?
opportunity to like speak to you or
Ew.
like
Y'all saw that, right? That he shut the record and just like started glitching.
any of the
I don't know why they did
developers.
that.
This is very
That was
unexpected. And
disgusting.
then he said, quote, "I obviously can't tell you anything real, just so we're clear. I just want to acknowledge we see you and hear you." And when he said that, I think he was referring to me as in like myself. Like they acknowledge and see me. And I was like, I didn't
Yeah.
even know. I still don't know how to respond to that because like I said, I've just sort of accepted that there's going to be zero chance of me ever working with like Battlefield in general. So seeing that sort of message
I think they're changing course. Like EA doesn't want another 2042. Let's be completely honest. So they're trying to change course to make sure the next game does not flop like 2042 did. So I can see them like providing the scope of who they want seeing the game and who they like basically who the game critiques from. They're providing the scope on if we should accept those critiques or not to impact the game. I think that's what's happening here.
from Dice's lead producer is I just don't even like I don't even know what to say. But after this, the conversation sort of went into what he did on Battlefield 4. CTE was brought up. For those of you that don't know,
Yep,
David
that's what
Sirlin
saved it.
really can be credited with saving, or at least helping save, Battlefield 4 in its entirety because of the community test.
The CTE saves a lot of games. I think World War III also has a CTE, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they do. They do have a CTE. Also, this supposed to have an update. That's what we're going to talk about next. They have CTE. It's not really working out for them though.
Environment that he had a huge part in. Then the conversation shifted to some specific game features that we would like to see in the next Battlefield game. And I mentioned that I would like to see grabbing health and ammo kits off of players from Battlefield 5 brought into
Yes, I think Hardland had that too.
the next Battlefield game. And I also mentioned that I really liked that thing over the minimap from Battlefield 5, the UI element that told you when you were spotted, and it even told you in certain scenarios.
Yes, that was so good, dude. Because it's like when the flares up in the air. That's I think that's the only way you get spotted besides pinging. And it was really just show, hey, you're spotted by this flare or whatever.
What you were spotted by. And lo and behold, Tigger is responsible for both of those things being added into Battlefield
Are
5.
you serious? Why would they not have this next game? Oh my god. They better be in the next game.
I did not know that, but
And you know what I want? I want to go back to the other minimap where you shot your gun and it didn't show up on the minimap, but it would you would still get spotted if you shot. I mean not sorry. If you get spotted, you show up on the minimap. That's what they did with Battlefield 5. So when you shot your gun normally, because there's no silencers in the game at the time, it would not show up on the minimap. I like that. Because it meant you're not always checking minimap for someone shooting. It means you have to look around. I think they should go back with the Battlefield 5 style minimap where you can shoot a flare in the air and it'll spot everyone around or whatever. I don't know how they're gonna do this. Maybe a drone again. I don't know. Maybe you throw something down on the ground and it calls a spotting thing in. I don't know. But I wanted to go back to that. I think that was a lot more fun gameplay wise.
he did mention that he loved to see all of his little features being brought up. And of course, while we were on the topic of Battlefield 5, attrition had to be brought up, and I expressed my distaste for attrition. He also said that he was not a big fan of attrition, and it just became a button press loop must have, which is annoying, of course. Then the conversation sort of shifted into talking about spotting and the Doritos above people's heads. And we were going back and forth, discussing various aspects of it. But he was saying that the act of shooting just the Dorito itself without actually being able to see the player model isn't very fun,
It's not.
and it should be a more enjoyable combat experience. And one of the final things that I sort of briefly discussed with him
You can do that by making characters a little bit brighter inside environments, by the way.
was the fact that I would really love to see the vehicles be much improved upon in the next Battlefield title. And
Yes, dude. Every vehicle in this game feels underwhelming, especially the tanks. I'm a tanker, dude, and those tanks are not the best to use. I mean, they're fun. Yeah, but they could be so much better than what they are.
I emphasized to him, really take a look at Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 vehicle mechanics and design and the way those vehicles were. I think there's a reason why Battlefield 4's vehicles stand the test of time to this day for the
Yeah.
most part. And he responded by saying, yes, it's very deep. Vehicle versus infantry is a key loop to get good and deep. And by deep, I assume he means like deep mechanic wise, like in depth gameplay. But after that little tidbit, he did have to leave. But that was, again, really interesting. Basically had an impromptu exclusive one-on-one with
Yeah, pretty much.
Battlefield's lead producer. I was,
That's pretty cool too.
hey man, I was thrown in the deep end. I didn't expect this today, but we had a cool conversation. I was really surprised that he stuck around for as long as he did. And it was really cool to see him respond to people asking him questions. He had great answers and was generally just really, really easy to talk to and was very, very open-minded. So that's really all I have for you today in this video. Let me know what you
Yeah,
think
that's a good
about it.
video. Hopefully, I mean, wedge a wedge. You know, he can say all this stuff, but the next game could flop like 2022. Then I just turned captions on accident. I was stretching. Um, no, then. Yeah, he could. It literally next game could be the worst battlefield of all time. It could be worse than 2022. We don't know. It could be the best battlefield of all time. It could actually be a battlefield that launches without any bugs. We never know. We'll see when it comes out. But I can only hope for the best because I want to play a new FPS game that is not Call of Duty. I don't know, to be completely honest. I'm having fun with these tactical shooters, but those things they're not the same as Battlefield. Like World War Three. World War Three was pretty good, but they didn't. It was so bad. It was so laggy. Net kill's not good. Whatever. They have a lot of issues with this game, and they made it free to play. Battlefield 5. Like I can go back to play this if I wanted to. I even have it downloaded. I tried playing the other day. I just a big skill gap now. Yeah, I'm not in that skill gap at the moment. Marvel Rival's a good one, but it's a hero shooter. I'm not. Hey, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not big on hero shooters. I'll play them, but I'm not like, hey, I'm playing hero shooters every day. I like them. They're nice, but they're not my go-to game. Enlisted, tactical shooting. It's it's pay to win heavily, awful. What else we got here? I'm playing a lot because I'm playing a lot of this. I'll be completely honest. I've been absolutely grinding this game out. I love this game. Cyberpunk, it's Cyberpunk. I don't know what I was talking about anymore. All right, let's move on. Before I start falling asleep here, I'm getting tired.